Hello, welcome back. I'm the Inksmith, and I'm here to make a bit of a different video for today. I wanted to take a break and step away from all the downfall videos and kind of just refresh my mind on why I do a lot of these videos and what I find the most concerning and what I think I see through researching these over and over again. And I kind of want to go through a breakdown of what actually happens that causes a YouTuber to have a breakdown and kind of fall off or become obscure or lose their following or completely mess up their community as a whole. I myself, my own personal story, is I started YouTube back in 2006 with another channel called Unrested that was about Japan, and that channel's pretty much dead. I have to be bluntly honest with myself and say the main reason I wanted to start a new channel and do something different was because I just about killed that channel. And the reason that I did was, well, for a couple reasons. Number one, I didn't really update, upgrade, or do anything new or different with what my content was for a very long time. So my channel kind of degraded and fell apart. Because of that, I lost more and more viewers. People were doing newer and better stuff with better cameras, better sound, etc. And also, I had a community at the beginning, but it all fell apart eventually due to infighting, community bouts, people hating on each other for doing either the same subjects or covering the same topics. And then later it even got into people taking sides with infighting, and it was some very silly infights. It was about people using different sponsors and different clothing sponsors for videos and things like that. When I look back on it now, it is a very silly reason for everything falling apart. I think also another thing was I got arrogant with my channel too. I'm more than aware that there was times I think I was too arrogant with my channel. I tried to take community disputes into my own hands and speak on them, and I feel like it wasn't something I was in touch with enough to be able to speak objectively, and got far too subjective with a lot of my takes on things. So I want to also look back on that and realize that's how I kind of destroyed my own channel. So I've actually gone through my own sort of downfall myself, and I'm more than willing to admit that. And that's kind of why I started this channel too and enjoy going over downfalls, is because I love analyzing why people do what they do or why things happen the way they do. And this is something I've looked into for quite a long time. I researched quite a few downfall channels before I even got into all this, such as J-Law, J. Aubrey, June the King, Bills, and actually I do want to give a shout out. I will be doing a collab with Bills soon on a downfall video. I don't want to mention which one it is yet, but I will be having a guest appearance on his show soon, so I'm looking forward to that. But today, we're here just to cover why do people have a downfall of their channel. YouTube has only been around for about, what, we're going on 16 years now? I guess we could say it's about 2006. I think most people would agree that YouTube kind of started. 16 years. So it's still only a teenager as far as age goes. So it's still very brand new to the world, and there's still a lot of innocence involved, or should I say a lot of ignorance involved. And I say that about myself as well. There's things I've been very ignorant about and how I've handled my own channels in the past. And this is also something I've looked at as far as how people have ruined their own careers or their own channels. And I'm going to go over just what I think some of these ideas are. This is not anything certified psychological, psychiatric. I don't give myself any sort of credit of being any sort of master of any of these things. This is just a personal, very subjective take, looking over many of the downfalls I've done and why people screwed up extremely large followings that were disgusted by them or completely went away from them. And it all starts from their past, usually. There's one relative thing I've noticed a lot from the past. And this is not something I'm blaming people for. I'm just saying I've noticed this regular trend in things that have like epic downfalls, such as Sky Does Minecraft or Cryotic. And there's always past trauma involved, a lack of attention from either parents or negligence in their past life when they were a small child. So this has made a great dichotomy as far as how their life has changed. It's nearly flipped to the opposite side after they've gotten a large following on YouTube. This means they went from having little to no attention in their past to suddenly having all the attention and all the eyes on it, and sometimes they don't know how to handle that. Sometimes that can mess with their mind quite a bit. That leads into some of the current issues that people have within their career once they started, and that is, number one, a lack of socialization. One thing I think a lot of people kind of dismiss is how much YouTubers actually work. If you're making a video every single day, that is constantly riding on your mind, and a lot of people laugh off YouTube as a career. I myself don't consider it my main career. This is still more of a hobby for me, but I do put out a video every single day, and that means I work on my channel every single day. To be able to do that, whether you're just a Let's Player or whether you're a person who does analysis videos like I do myself, you're putting in a couple hours every day, and that can kind of overwork you a bit. If I do an 8-hour job and then come home and do 2 more hours of this, I've worked 10 hours for that day. This leads to a lack of socialization. I myself have a family, so I'm lucky in that sense because I can come home and eat dinner with my family, talk to them, and even as I'm working on my videos, I'm talking to them. So I'm still socializing in that sense, but I'll be honest with you, I don't hang out with friends much anymore. I don't really have the time. That is kind of part of being an adult and having a family, is that you end up not, hanging around bars, going to clubs, going to live shows, or anything like that. That's also the responsibility of being a father. I need to be there for my kids, help them with their homework, help them with their emotions, learning about the world, and every day coming home and asking them about what happened at school. But for some, that's not the situation. Their lack of socialization is total and full and carries throughout the whole day, where the only people they are talking to are via text or their own viewers. This can really mess with your mind and kind of degenerate your actual socialization skills. Next up, we've got no maturity or mental growth. We saw this a lot with Cryotic, and I think we saw this with Sky Does Minecraft as well. I think sometimes locking yourself away in a room and not talking to anyone or socializing with anyone for a very long time, and not having peers that you can kind of bounce ideas off for a very long time, can stunt your mental growth or maturity. Cryotic was 31. Now, I know people always harp on me. They're like, "What are you gonna keep comparing age?" Guys, I'm older than 31. I'm not harping on age in the sense of this person's too old. I'm harping on the sense that a lot of these people are acting like high schoolers when they're almost at their midlife. And the reason for this is because they're still doing things with viewers who are at that age and interacting with them and thinking that's the appropriate way for them to act as well. I see a lot of this stunted growth in the sense that the only people you're bouncing ideas off of tend to be a lot of high schoolers who do watch YouTube. There's nothing wrong with high school kids watching YouTube. In fact, I'm happy to have any and every age watch my channel, although I don't think it's appropriate for anyone below the age of high school. Nonetheless, I think these people who constantly communicate and have only their pure ideas or feedback from this mental age tend to put themselves in the same mental age. So when you yourself are reaching the age of 30 or even 40 with some of the people I've covered in the past, your mental age still stays down at a high school level, in which you still get into sort of high school quarrels, high school relationships, and even, sadly, the scariest part is dating high school aged people. And I think that's what we see a lot with these downfall videos, is that they connect so much with this age and this peer group as their main communication, is that that's the only dating ring they have, because you tend to actually date within your group, peers, communication, social group. I don't know how else you want to say it. And that's what they've done, is they've only given themselves this small social group of people who are outside of the age range they should be dating. I'm not making any kind of excuse for it. It's disgusting. It shouldn't happen. But it's also why I see it happen, I think. No self-reflection or no self-reflection. This is a big thing. They tend to not understand sometimes when they've had a lack of socialization in the past, that their peers have not bounced ideas off of them that say like, hey, this is not the right way to act in this situation, because their peers themselves don't have their own YouTube channel. So if you constantly have people telling you every single thing you make or do is great, you tend to have no self-reflection in the sense that you think everything I make and do is great. And that's what tends to be a lot of what you see in the comments. I kind of keep it real because I've kept quite a bit of comments open to everybody. I never block anybody. I never delete any comments. If I get a bad one, or I get someone slamming me for what I've done, or I get a review on a video that people don't like it, I don't attack it. I don't delete it. I don't erase it from, I read it and actually take it in and want to try and correct myself to be better, because I feel like that's something I didn't do enough of in the past with my old channel. I guess in a sense I have the luck or the experience of having failed through a YouTube channel, and I think that adds a little something to the next channel you go through, where you realize you are going to make mistakes, and that people being critical isn't always just to tear you down. It might be constructive criticism to build you back up. And if it's your first YouTube channel and that blows up, you may not have that growing time to realize that there are mistakes you can make, and there are certain taboo things that you do with your video that are not okay. And if you can't reflect on that, see that, and actualize that in your mind, you tend not to correct your behavior over time. And that's the same behavior that can get you canceled from the internet. Next up, this is one I heard Destiny talk about before, and I know probably some of you aren't the biggest fans of Destiny. I personally love to hear his arguments, just because I like to hear the input of many different minds from many different viewpoints. He talked about one time something called the trampoline effect, and I thought this was a really intelligent breakdown and analysis of what happens to a lot of brand new YouTubers when they start their channel. If a channel blows up, you have the trampoline effect. That means it blows up in the sense that suddenly explodes in popularity, and you rise to a popularity very quickly. I didn't really have this with my old channel. I hit about 100K at one point before I lost a ton of subscribers over time for not updating my channel. But my channel blew up one time because I covered, number one, a really creepy guy who came to Japan who was harassing girls, and another time where I covered a big fight between two big YouTubers, and that kind of blew up my channel. And after you get that feeling, you get that effect on your channel, it's very hard to correct your state of mind when that dips again, because it will always dip again. You'll have a sudden explosion in views, popularity, subscribers, and people joining your channel and watching what you do, excited about what you do. Those same people will eventually leave because you can't keep covering the same subject over and over. For me and this channel, it's kind of the creep show art stuff. I got a lot of you to join during that time. My views are very high from that point. Some videos as high as 60,000 views. Now I'm back down to 1,000 views. Now, for me, I can reason this because my channel is about 3,000 subscribers. 1,000 views on a 3,000 subscriber channel is not that bad. But on my old channel, when I hit 100K subscribers and I was only getting about 1,000 to 2,000 views, it felt very bad to me. And that's probably what a lot of these other people feel when they have 1 million subscribers and they only hit something like 25,000 views on a video. That can feel very disheartening, kind of affect your mental health in the sense that, oh, I thought it was popular. What people need to understand is it's the trampoline effect. You'll keep bouncing back again and again. Eventually you will hit something again, but it's if you can keep pushing yourself to find what that next big thing is to hit that allows you to continue your YouTube career long term. And that can be really hard. That can take a huge toll on your, I guess, delight in making videos, your enjoyment, because there is a point where we all make these videos for ourselves. We used to all cover subjects that we personally like quite a bit, but you want people to watch the videos. Anyone who says they don't make their videos for views is lying. A video is literally entertainment for your eyes. You're making it for views. There's nothing wrong with that, but it can also be very disheartening when you don't get those views. Just 3 quick things I want to throw in here at the end is narcissism, megalomania, and orbiters. This is kind of outside the realm of what's seen normally on YouTube. There are the outliers who do have actual, narcissistic personality disorder. They're megalomaniac. They have ideas of grandiose. And if they get caught into the trap of becoming popular on YouTube, this can really get out of hand. I think the mindset of narcissism, or even the actual diagnosis of having narcissistic personality disorder, put together with having a YouTube channel, can be insanely disastrous. So I think that's something we need to be aware of. And last but not least, unhealthy relationships with your viewers, which kind of goes back over the fact that a lot of viewers, the main viewers of YouTube, tend to be high school age kids. And there's very obvious reasons why relationships with your viewers that go outside of just simply talking about your hobby can get very unhealthy. Hence, I've always said that if you want to have a YouTube career that is a shining example of what you should be doing with YouTube, then you should discuss with your viewers only the topics that you are making videos on and nothing else. Outside of that, you're starting to get kind of weird or gross. You are not there to be somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend as a person making videos. Your subscribers are not Tinder. I always will stand by that statement. You don't use them as a dating pool. That is very weird. Last but not least, I don't want to end this on a bad note. I want to do it for a hope or something I think that would help the community kind of heal these wounds that we see within the riddled world of the downfall videos we see throughout YouTube. And I think the main thing that could be the overall medicine, the remedy to this illness that we see sometimes within our favorite YouTubers going down a dark path is respect. And that respect needs to be to the community, the subjects you cover, and your viewers. Respect to the community in the sense that you need to respect other people's ideas that are different from your own. Whether or not you agree with it, it's not always constructive to just tear someone apart if you're not adding anything to the conversation. Respect another person's view, even if you don't hold the same view. Reflect on what they've said and see how you can construct your own beliefs in a way that is a constructive criticism and not a tear-down criticism. Next up is your subjects that you cover. I think this can get really bad, especially if you're covering things like I just made a video about the death of a YouTuber. I did not include music in this one. I didn't add any jokes or side takes or anything like that because I just felt like that would be very poor taste. You know, some people with the Mick Skillet video that I just did hate Mick Skillet because of what he did. Some people dismiss what he did because of his mental illness at the time. I personally feel like I need to be very objective with how I put that video together, respect the fact that people did lose their lives in this situation, and not take it in any sort of joking way. I think, you know, when it comes to like mental disorders, when it comes to abuse, trauma, and death, these are not things we can joke about. We need to take a step back, and unless you're like a professional comedian, I don't think you really should try to go to town with making all sort of funnies about what these very traumatic situations are. Last but not least, respect to your viewers. Listen to your viewers, hear their feedback, correct your mistakes, be willing to sit down and make a correction video. Be willing to sit down and listen to what people think would make your video better. For so long, people told me on my old videos about the quality being very poor, me not getting a better mic, and I didn't listen, and my channel fell apart because of that. Nonetheless, I'm sure you guys have your own comments on why things can fall apart and what actually tears down a channel. I would love to hear what those views are and get you to assess this in the comments down below. I think this is always a very important thing to stop and take a look back on and talk to your audience about what videos have I made now on my channel with the downfall. For example, I had some mistakes in my technicals video that I needed to correct. I've had some mistakes in my Creepshow art ones that I've had to correct in the past too. What are other things that I could correct to make better? Is there something like better sound that you need, better video? I do hopefully want to get better equipment eventually, but I'm not really making enough from doing YouTube videos to supply that as of now, so I'm just using my computer to make these. I want to get a better microphone and better quality stuff eventually, but that'll come later down the line. What are other things you've seen in other people's videos that you think they could do a better job with? And what tragedies have you seen within the YouTube community in the past that kind of really upset you as far as the downfall is concerned? Also, I would like some suggestions as to another type of topic I'd like to cover. There are some other deaths within YouTube I would like to cover, but I feel like calling them a downfall video is in poor taste. It's not really the downfall if somebody's life ended. For example, Basherverse recently died just last year, and he had kind of a troubled past, and there is points where people made downfall videos, but now that he's died, I don't want to call the video a downfall video, and I'm kind of lost as to what to do with that. Another person I'd like to cover is Spoonie, and Spoonie hasn't died, and his YouTube channel is still up, so it wasn't deleted, but he's disappeared and no one sees him anymore, and I don't know whether to call that a lost YouTuber, a disappeared YouTuber. What do you title a video like that, and where do I go with that subject? Like, what type of things should be covered? What other YouTubers do you want to see me cover, or even TikTokers or people on Twitch that you think need a downfall video? Let me know in the comments below. I think dialogue between the viewers is the most important, especially when it occurs over the topic that you're covering in videos. Until next time, I've been the Inksmith. Have a great rest of the day.